Okay, we're live.
You can tell from my trailer trash sounding voice that I love NASCAR.
Oh god.
I actually hate NASCAR, but I
Oh.
trash.
Yeah, it's okay. Me too.
Yeah. We're live from the pro show for another episode of Damn Game Boys.
White people, you can say it too. I really miss my wig.
I'm kidding.
Did you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm
Is that what that
kidding.
was?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Eli.
I'm laughing too hard to say it. Zach.
We got the Morphew here.
The Morphew, huh?
The Morphew, the time Morphew.
It's Morphew time.
If you know old
Like
school
Morpheus?
Radioactive, you'll know me from stealing his mic.
You're still there when he streams sometime, aren't you?
Sometime, and then I jack off on him.
Why do you always have to make it so gay, Ty? God.
Because I'm secretly gay. God.
He's
don't
been
be so
playing gay
homophobic.
peekaboo.
I'm playing gay peekaboo with the gills.
It's like I've been leaving a breadcrumb trail of gayness.
Oh god.
Okay, and you are.
Just shoot me now.
Yeah, he's
There.
back.
Generic
Depressing
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 line.
Gil.
Yeah,
Won't let
and
me
we're
stick
also
it
here
in.
with.
I'm John Dean.
You really miss this?
Shut the fuck up, Zach.
I can't say that word either, so I'm not going
That
to.
one's you, Ryan.
So what have you guys all been playing lately? Oh, I can't laugh because it hurts my fucking sides. What have you been playing lately? Anyone?
Holy shit.
Do you want?
Staring me down, huh?
Yeah.
Can I have anything?
You
Finished South Park.
How was that? Like,
Fun.
Okay. So instead of what Gil did as being a piece of shit and just did a thumbs up.
I mean, yeah, but Gil's Pokemon game wasn't like fucking 3 years old.
No, but how did you feel about it all in the end? Like, you can like a game in the
I
beginning.
liked it, and then I started watching South Park.
Oh, see?
Because I'd never really watched South Park
How do you like South Park?
It's
Good
fun.
decision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good choice. Good
It's a great
choice.
show.
Yeah.
Okay, made you watch
10
South
out
Park?
of 10 would watch. Okay, so that's all you've been
11
doing?
out of 10 do watch.
Yeah, just watch it.
Watch
Just
it
do
right now.
So what about you, Zach? I'm going to guess. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto 5, Battlefront 2, or... Wait,
I don't own Battlefront 2.
WWTK16.
I mean the new one.
Good.
But yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course you fucking did. You're so boring.
It's because I don't buy that many games.
What did you play video games, Ty? Did you
Yeah,
play the
yeah.
video games?
I've been playing a lot of World War II zombies. You know, I like-
Piece of shit.
I like COD for the zombies only.
Did
That's
you
the
play
only
the
reason
campaign, though?
I did, and it was forgettable.
What do you rate the overall game while you were playing it?
The World War
It's-
II
it's-
campaign?
It's another Call of Duty game. It's not really realistic at all.
I would definitely call the World War II campaign way better than Black Ops 3.
I mean, it's compared to any of the other ones. It's
Any of the
obviously
recent
better.
ones, at
It's
least.
obviously better than them if you like a game that's set in reality. But I mean,
Or like a campaign that
Yeah.
makes sense.
yeah, if it's still Call of Duty, so don't expect realism. I guess coming
Or
from
like a compelling storyline.
yeah.
Or good
coming
gameplay at
from
all.
me, I guess it's a little skewed because being in the military, you kind of know what's realistic and not. So
I was also pleasantly surprised with how long the campaign was.
it was. There's replayability to it, I guess, if you like getting like collectible shit. But
And playing through the higher difficulties,
Yeah.
yeah. Or unless you're one of those that like plays through on better in the first time.
you need to play it on the higher difficulties, otherwise it's just
At
it'll be
least
done in,
on
like 4
hard mode.
hours. Yeah.
But yeah, like when I played through it, I was expecting it to be like 4 or 5 hours, but I mean it took me like 8.5 to finish the whole thing. So, and I didn't buy it, so totally worth my money.
What about you, Gil?
Not a dang thing.
You haven't even played the new Pokemon game?
Nope.
You weren't here last week. Did you play anything?
All I did was sat in my house and half froze to death because our heat went out.
Is that why you stayed home? Because
Sorry,
heat
Gil.
went out?
No, if I'd known the heat was gonna go out, I would have came here. Warm here.
What about you, John? What have you been playing?
Replaying Cuphead.
Did you finally buy it, or?
Well, no, I bought it a while ago.
Oh, I didn't
I've
know.
beaten it already. It's just I felt like playing it again.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause that's a game that has a lot of replayability.
How's that going? Is it still fun?
Oh yeah, I still like it. Dark Souls 2, been playing that again
Oh, right on.
because that's what I do. Is I buy new games and then play Dark Souls.
I actually went on Steam and I bought Spore, that Maxis game where you create like a fucking
I mean, that really old game that was really disappointing.
Yeah.
to a
I
lot of
remember
people.
playing that back in middle school.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was very like
I remember that coming out in middle school.
as an adult, it's not. It's just more for mindless fun and just like making as the weirdest fucking thing you can to beat the shit out of other
A
weird
giant penis.
No, I did not make a giant
penis
penis.
monsters.
Giant penis
Yeah.
monsters everywhere, as far as the eye can see.
I was
Have
under
them-
the impression that was all you could make.
Pretty sure that was the goal of the game.
To make giant penis
Why
monsters.
make anything?
No, I haven't really been playing much besides that, I guess. Like, I beat Fractured Butthole. That was fun.
Did you do that a while ago, though?
Yeah, I replayed it.
Oh.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's all I really got. So we're just gonna run to these trailers, and we watched a ton of them, and there was a lot of jokes we're not gonna talk about.
Because we love women here.
And
Disclaimer.
minorities.
Yes.
Minorities.
That's a lie.
So the first trailer we saw, Ty and Zach didn't see because I don't know, they were doing butt buddy stuff, but
We were having sex.
yes.
No, we were getting owned in COD Zombies.
And COD zombies.
Pokemon Go just released their new weather dynamic system and
As well as Gen 3
free Pokemon. So I don't know if anyone else. I don't play it anymore because like it just I fell off. And I know we've had this conversation last week. We talked about how someone made a whole fucking speech on like how Pokemon Go costs thousands of dollars in damage.
Yeah.
I suppose they're just implementing these new things to try and see how many more people they can kill.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's like, we're gonna add in the weather feature.
Yeah.
Because we
This
saw
will strategically place you right on the tornado.
I was just gonna say somebody
You and
walks
I were
out
just-
into a tornado looking for like a Pokemon.
Texas got hit by all the
Yeah,
hurricanes. They're like, we could have killed so many more people. We're missing out.
Like you and me thought about that when they were in the cave. Like, why are you in a cave in the middle of all this?
I always remember when that one girl who was playing Pokemon Go found that dead body.
Yeah.
That's all
It
I
can
think
save
about now.
lives too.
That's all I can think about.
She didn't save his life. He was already fucking
Oh,
dead.
Literally
Yeah.
found a dead body.
Raped several times.
Yeah.
So-
Like, that's fucking like, she goes like, you could save a life after she's like, Pokemon Go, this girl found a dead body. It's like, he's dead.
You think anyone playing Pokemon Go would like go out of their way to save their life and be like, okay, I want to save you, but I gotta catch this Pikachu. Man.
Yeah. It's
Totally
got a
nuts.
fucking birthday hat on
I
it,
don't
man.
know. Pokemon Go is still something I have on my phone, but it's legitimately something that I only play when I'm with other people.
That
and
play
they're all
Pokemon
like,
Go.
hey, we're playing Pokemon Go, look at this. And I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing here. I was under the impression we were just gonna go get food and go home. But alright, I'll walk around in the fucking cold for an hour.
That happened to you recently, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, with this in mind, like, the dynamic weather is, I guess, like, sunnier days, you get, like, grass types and shit like that. Because
It's it's an interesting addition, that's for sure.
whether it's gonna work or not, the way they're, like, promoting it, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Because I know that, like, when the game first started, it was supposed to be, like, regional. Where we talked about this earlier, you'd find, like, more water types around, like, lakes and rivers and stuff.
Yeah, I get
And
you.
while that does work, around here,
Bullshit.
it actually does.
Does not.
If you go to some of the more populated areas, because the way Pokemon Go works is that there's more spawns in areas where more people are playing. So that's why when you go to like cities, their fucking Pokemon Go games are like lit the fuck up. And when you're here, you get like a Rattata like 3 miles away,
Yeah,
and
you
that's
have to
fucking
walk
it.
like fucking 5 miles into a field.
Yeah. So like that mostly works, but it's also redundant because you can get those spawns anywhere else too. It's just that they happen more often when you're there. But like around here, that shit doesn't work like at all because we don't have enough like land markers and shit for it to work. And again, we don't have enough people in a condensed area for the game to really work.
Got enough fucking nurse going to the Pokemon Go Spencer page to be like, guys, look at all these Pokemon.
I mean, if you go to like Sioux Falls, even the game is like 4 times better. Because I mean, stuff actually happens.
Even Storm Lake.
Yeah, even Storm Lake. Yeah, but
You'll
like
find more dead bodies there.
just around here, it's.
You wouldn't get stabbed to
Just
death.
kick a
I guess
like
that's
Storm
why the
Lake.
weather thing is kind of interesting.
Okay.
Because it's like, this could work anywhere.
Then we're gonna jump into Mega Man 11, and we watched like 33 minutes of fucking like them going through like a Mega Man level doing nothing, and then it's like, hey, it looks like Mighty Number 9, but not Mighty Number 9.
Well, I mean, to be honest, of course it looks like Mighty Number 9 because both of the games are literally just Mega Man with advanced graphics. So, I mean, I would say that Mighty Number 9 looks like Mega Man before I say Mega Man looks like Mighty Number 9.
I understand that.
But
I really do.
I don't know. I'm kind of nervous for this because Mighty Number 9 was the original creators of Mega Man doing their thing, and now Mega Man is like Capcom doing it, and so it's like I don't know if they'll have that original know-how for a Mega Man game, but at the same time, it's like I have more faith in this being good than what.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mighty Number 9 was like a piece of shit.
Yeah, like after Mighty Number 9, I probably have more faith in like anybody who's played like one Mega Man game and gone like, all right, I kind of get it, and then like making a Mega Man game.
No, that's understandable. I don't know, I think it's interesting. Gil was just complaining that he talks. He talks in other fucking games, Gil.
Yeah, there's literally some games where there's some really shitty voice acting.
Yeah. Like, I don't
They're
understand
kinda
why.
infamous.
Yeah, I kind of don't understand why you're weirded out that he talks. They made a fucking cartoon where he talks.
Yeah.
They did,
And that
yeah.
is weird.
Super
It's actually a
robot.
pretty good
Yeah,
show, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
for what it was.
I don't know.
I don't know.
This-
Wait, you're making a bigger deal out of him talking than I am.
You're the one who bitched about it, like.
I just said I find it weird that he talks. That's all I said.
Well, there's actually like one thing that this gets me really excited for, and that's because like the next year is gonna have to be pretty big for the Switch, especially since 2017, which is its release year, was huge for the Switch.
Oh yeah.
So Nintendo can't really like they can't just let that die down.
Right.
Or it's gonna, because people are gonna keep wanting more. They can let it slow down a little bit, but they can't let it die out. And so one of the things that like 2018 is gonna pretty much need is a new Smash Bros.
Right.
And so I think with a new Mega Man coming out, and with Mega Man being in the last Smash Bros, I think that we could possibly see some more Mega Man characters in Smash Bros.
Fucking
and I'm pretty
worthless
excited.
character in Smash Bros.
Do you think?
That's why I want more Mega Man characters.
God
I want
awful.
more less worthless Mega Man characters.
Do you think Sonic? We could do the same thing with Sonic though. Do you think it could be bigger if we have Sonic?
What, Smash Bros?
No.
Or like a Sonic game on the Switch?
Sonic game on the Switch.
No, because the most recent Sonic game is Sonic Forces, and it's really fucking disappointing.
Let Sonic die.
And I'm pretty sure Sonic Mania is already on the Switch, so...
Like, why? Like,
Yeah,
by
Sonic
disappointing,
Forces
what do you
was
mean
too.
by disappointing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sonic Forces is already on the Switch too,
Is
actually.
it on the Switch? Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
What do you mean, what do I mean by
Like-
disappointing?
Do you think it like?
Like, it's just not that good.
Okay.
Like, it was advertised as being, oh my god, it's gonna be a great Sonic game, because look at Sonic Mania, we did a good job with that, even though we didn't do it.
And then Sonic
No, they
Forces
had-
is like, everyone on DeviantArt can be their own character that they created.
Yeah, but there really isn't that much to the character creation either.
Yeah, there really isn't. You choose between a wolf, a bird, a hedgehog, and a bunny.
Yeah, pretty much.
And a dog.
Which
And a
is,
dog.
is whatever. I mean, it's more than what the character creation was before, where you literally only played as like the preset characters, which was fine too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but now Sonic can have crushes now, and
Is
You're-
it on another
you're-
human?
your
No.
your DeviantArt like love story can now be canon in a Sonic game, John.
Well,
I prefer Mario Odyssey's player customization, which is just throw his hat on something, gets a mustache, that's now your player.
you can actually
that's
change
weird.
your outfits in Odyssey. It's pretty
Yep.
great. You can run around.
You're still a
with-
fat plumber
Yeah,
in
it's
any
true.
sort of suit.
But I mean,
With
you
nipples. You're a
yeah,
fat
but you
plumber
can
with
walk around without a
nipples.
shirt on.
Yeah.
God damn.
Battlefront 2: The Last Jedi is this new awesome DLC for Battlefront. That's free.
I kind of think we should just stop talking about this game.
Okay.
I mean, it's at least free.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
something.
it's
For
free
how long?
because everything else in it is fucking crazy expensive. I don't know. I think that at this point, it's safe enough to just shoot Battlefront 2 into all of the worst game awards for the year, and then just fucking forget about it. Like, nobody should have bought it. The people that did. Nobody should buy it. The people that are thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it.
So here's what I think about Battlefront 2. Wait till the game's like $30. They're gonna have to
No,
He
not even
gets it.
that.
wait till the game's $30. All the DLC will be free.
All the DLC's already free.
Well, there you go. And then don't buy any of this shit. Like, who cares if you get to play as Darth Vader? It's not that cool.
Here's what you should do
It's gonna be
instead.
some autistic kid who's fucking 10. All he does is play the game anyway.
Wait till like next year, when the next Battlefield is probably gonna get ready to come out, and then it'll be like free.
Yeah. Wait until the game's
Because
like $20.
Nobody will be playing it then.
That's also
Hasn't
true.
it only been a year
It'll
since
die.
Battlefield 1 came out, though?
Probably,
Yeah,
but I
Battlefield
mean,
came out end of 2016.
yeah, I guess when
It was
when did
November.
Battlefront 4 come out?
The next Battlefield.
It moved a lot faster, though.
Battlefront 4,
Battlefield 4 came out in 2013.
Yeah, but then we had Hardline in between
Hardline
that
came
and
out
one.
in the
Well, that-
beginning of 2015.
Yeah.
That, like, Battlefield 4 released its DLC super fast. Like, it had released, like,
Yeah.
3 of them by the time that, like, Battlefield 1 had released 1 of them.
The thing
I didn't like Hardline. I've had this
Nobody
conversation.
I liked
I
Hardline.
liked
I liked
Hardline.
Hardline too.
Is
But
that the
the
one with
only
the cops
game
and the
You
gang?
just said you.
I
people-
said nobody liked it.
Okay,
I didn't
good.
say I didn't like it.
People who play Battlefield think it's some hardcore military sim, but it's not. It's never been. People take it too seriously. It's a fucking video game.
It's better than
No,
the
I like
COD one.
Hardline because it's the only game I can run around, tase some guy, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
ask him where the
exactly.
fuck his friends are at.
Hardline was good. They tried something different.
That's
You
got
should have
some
gave them
flaws.
their money.
I kind of
It was a good
enjoyed.
game.
I enjoyed the campaign of Hardline a lot more than I did the multiplayer.
What I want to know is how many of you have ridden the couch?
I
did
have.
that too.
Everyone.
Battlefield 1 is too casual for me. They made it super casual, like they made Battlefront 1, their EA's remake, and it's really fucking casual, and it kind of sucks in my opinion.
I like Battlefield 1. I don't play it that much.
That's kind of where I'm at too.
Yeah,
actually.
I go back and I play Battlefield 4 because I don't like Battlefield 1. It's
I
casual.
play it
Yeah, if
almost.
I feel like playing a Battlefield, I play 4 usually.
I play it almost exclusively with Jay. So if he doesn't play it, I don't play it.
I do enjoy riding on a horse, though.
My horses are dumb.
Those things are fucking dumb.
I enjoy
don't care what
killing
anybody
the
says.
fucking
It's
horses.
pretty dumb.
I like-
This is
I like
amazing.
driving the tanks and then shooting people on horses.
Yeah. I mean, it's really easy to die on the horse, but it's really fun. It's the greatest thing ever if you can get a kill.
The horses ragdoll physics.
Do you know
Yeah,
they,
they're pretty
do
great.
you know they
Fucking
added
hilarious.
lances then?
Oh.
Did they?
Yeah, lances are a thing with
Yeah, the
the
Russian
DLCs.
DLC, they added
Ooh.
lances.
And when you hit a guy with them, he just hangs off the tip of the lance. It's really stupid.
We don't be fucking jousting in Battlefield.
Get your horses.
Then we go into Soul Calibur 6, and this makes me excited because I like Soul Calibur a lot. And from what we've heard is that it's going to be basically a remake of Soul Calibur 1, which is okay by me.
I like this idea because, like I said, I bought Soul Calibur 5 when I bought my PS3, and I hated it.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Just in general, the
Like-
gameplay sucked, the story blew.
There's one thing that'll ruin a fighting game in an instant, and it's clunkiness.
Yeah.
And the game was never really fixed. And it still feels clunky and sloth-like, and it's awful. You can't have a fighting game that feels slow.
I think the interesting concept though is that Soul Calibur 5 was supposed to be the start of a new generation of the
Yeah.
of the character's spiritual successors, and Soul Calibur 6 is like, I guess I'll redo it.
Well, the problem with them doing that is they made such shitty physics and gameplay to go with that, and so that's why most people were like, "Oh, fuck this game,"
Yeah.
because it sucked.
Yeah, but you gotta be
It's
Ezio.
It's just a shitty fucking game. Yeah, you get to be fucking Ezio. You got to be fucking Yoda and Darth Vader in Soul Calibur 4. What the fuck? And then fucking Link in Soul Calibur 2?
And Spawn and Heihachi.
Yeah, exactly. Like, their fucking guest character in 5, that's fucking bullshit. I want to be the generic Assassin's Creed guy.
Amen.
Even though, like, Ezio is everybody's fucking favorite. I mean, whatever, he's better than Altair, but...
I was just saying
And
the
Connor.
bar was low.
It was, really.
But, I mean, fucking... Black Flag's Assassin is still my favorite. As pirates.
Yeah.
Then we go to World War Z, and we really didn't get much from this trailer. It was just
Zombies.
zombies.
I don't know.
I loved your comment on that, by the way. This looks like World War Z.
I didn't watch him type it in, okay?
No, you actually got the concept of what the game is about.
Yeah.
If this is
Even without knowing it.
more of like, kind of like a horror zombie game and less of like a,
Shoot him up.
It's
It
not
seems
gonna
like
be a
Left
horror.
4
it's
Dead.
it's definitely
It's-
not gonna be
it's gonna
that.
be a
But if
wave-based
that's
zombie
what it
game.
was gonna be, that would be a little bit more of what I wanted. But this is gonna be like another fucking Days Gone or Left 4
Yeah.
Dead or something like that.
Shoot to kill.
It's either gonna be it's either gonna be like a multiplayer shooter kind of thing, or it's gonna be like a fucking Last of Us remake kind of thing.
I'm shooting multiplayer shooter.
I'm going for Last of Us.
Watch
Okay.
it. Watch
I
it.
think they're gonna use the fact that it was a movie first to make some sort of story out of it.
Then we go to In the Valley of the
Well,
Gods.
it was also a book.
Yeah. We go to In the Valley of the Gods. You don't really get much. It looks like it's going to be like a puzzle.
This is the Campo Santo one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks just as
I'm
dumb
honestly,
as
like-
Firewatch.
Yeah.
We can't make any jokes here.
To be completely honest, like this is kind of like a
Someone
weird
take my
thought,
mouth
but
shut.
with PewDiePie's thing on
Oh my god.
the Firewatch deal, with them using DMCA takedowns for his Firewatch videos, I don't agree with their use
Practice.
of DMCA
Okay.
to take that down because
Okay.
they didn't want to be associated with him. That's not what those takedowns are for, and so I personally can't support anything that Campo Santo comes out with
Okay.
anymore. But yeah, this looks like a fucking other Firewatch game. So
That was really stupid of them for them to cut off PewDiePie. Do you know how many fucking subscribers he has?
That's not the point.
that's
though.
kind of that's kind of one of the things that they had mentioned too. It's like, yeah, we got a lot of publicity through PewDiePie, but like we don't want to support someone who uses offensive words like that. And it's like I understand like where they're coming from, but that's just not what DMCA takedowns are for.
Yeah.
That's not what copyright laws are for. So, and I can't agree with someone using copyright law to their advantage for something like that. They're within their legal rights to do it, but the fact that they not only used it for the wrong reasons, but admitted it and stated it on Twitter too, that that's what they were doing it for, it's just something that I can't agree with.
That's understandable. Then we go into Death Stranding, the new Hideo Kojima game. And, man,
It's another confusing trailer.
yeah.
I don't know. I love Metal Gear Solid, so I mean,
I like it too, but, like, this is where, like, I get, like, there's babies and throats and shit. And I
yeah,
just,
Norman
like,
Reedus eats a baby.
yeah, like, I just, like, the zero gravity is the best way to kill yourself
He
is by
doesn't even
stabbing
cook it.
yourself.
He just
He's fucking
Yeah, he
starts
just
going.
swallows it.
Oh,
I don't know.
crazy.
I'm excited.
It's bizarre, and I'm
It's-
interested.
Will it be an adventure, though?
Have they stated whether or not this is going to be a 2018 release?
They're shooting for it.
It's not going to happen.
It's not,
It's not going to happen.
but they're shooting
I'm
for it.
I'm thinking it's going to be like mid to late 2019, honestly, because
He's a
I mean-
crazy man and just does.
it's
Beautiful
Kojima.
things.
He
Yeah.
will drag out
He's
this
gonna-
production as long as he has to.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that if the game does need delays, that they do delay it. Because I really think that them releasing Metal Gear Solid 5 when they did is some of the reasons why it's not as good as it could have been.
That's
I
understandable.
guess that was something I forgot to say. I've recently gone through and been replaying that also, and I'm still really convinced that Metal Gear Solid 5 did not need to happen. or at least needed to be finished properly.
No, I get you. Then we go into GTFO, and that's the zombie game. I don't know.
I
I
wasn't
don't-
paying
Is that
attention.
the
I don't
one
know
with the
if
dead
it is
body
an
in a
actual
frozen
zombie
lab?
game.
This is the one that I'm like, this is probably a multiplayer shooter.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
co-op game.
Yeah. This is basically like your Left 4 Dead remake.
Kind
Kinda
of
thing.
reminds me of the Killing Floor.
I like Killing Floor 2, actually.
Yeah.
That's good. No, that. I don't know. I don't
So,
play shooters.
Yeah, if it's more like Killing Floor 2 and less like Left 4 Dead,
Yeah.
then I'll probably check it out. But like, there's been a couple of different people who have tried to do the Left 4 Dead thing and they never do it as well as Left 4 Dead. So if I ever want to play Left 4 Dead, I always just go play Left 4 Dead and not these newer remakes of it.
Are they ever gonna make a 3?
Probably not.
Valve doesn't make titles with 3 in them, man.
Yeah,
The fuck out of
they
here.
really hate that number.
Yep, Dota 2.
Then we go to Fade to Silence, and
Half-Life
it's
2.5.
the Gills,
Chapter 2.
Yeah.
Skip
it's
to
Gills
Half-Life.
Iditarod
Portal 2.
simulator.
Why
I-
haven't we got one, world?
I
We
highly
need it.
doubt it's an Iditarod simulator.
No, it's not. It's I don't know. It's basically a dude dying in the winter and then him doing cool shit.
The entire trailer was 5 seconds of like interesting stuff, and then 10 seconds of this dead body.
I think the way that it's seeming that it's gonna be some sort of survival game where you're like in the fucking tundra or some shit like that.
Hooray!
Which, okay, I mean it's interesting, but it's not like a game that I'm really into.
The next two are two teasers, which John are excited about. The From Software teaser
Fuck yeah!
and Medieval HD
Not quite as
remake.
excited, but you know,
Yeah.
From Software, I can't.
What do you? Okay, so do you think it's gonna be Bloodborne 2?
No, they literally gave it a name.
Did it?
Yeah, didn't you see it? I
I
can't
thought
remember
that
what it
I
was.
thought that was
Twice.
just.
Shadows died twice.
I thought that was just a tagline.
Yeah,
I mean,
I thought that was just.
It
a-
might just be a tagline, but I doubt it's Bloodborne 2. I know that Miyazaki has been on record saying that he's like, I don't really want to do a sequel. He's come out and said that the things that he wants to work on are like an Armored Core remaster, and then like something that fans are kind of expecting, and then like a new IP that like no one's expecting. And so I'm thinking that this might be.
Dark Souls with guns!
That's what Bloodborne is.
Dark Souls with assault rifles!
Automatic guns, yeah.
I doubt that's ever gonna happen, but I am really excited to see what From Software
Dark Souls
is
in feudal Japan.
gonna. That's
Isn't that
Neo.
Neo? Yeah.
Then Team Ninja did that, but I don't know.
Dark
when
Souls
I played,
in space!
when I,
God,
that was
no.
the Surge. Well, I guess that wasn't necessarily in
I
space.
said the Surge wasn't in space; it was just in
Sci-fi. But I'm
Dark
really,
Souls in World War II.
God damn it.
I'm really excited to
Hitler
see
knows
where
karate.
From Software is going to take the Dark Souls formula. I don't know. I'm really torn on Bloodborne 2 because I really like Bloodborne, and I would like to be able to go back to that world without playing the same game that I've played a jillion times.
Right.
Bloodborne's atmosphere was like really cool.
A1.
Yeah.
Steak sauce.
But like, I really, but Bloodborne was Miyazaki going out and doing exactly what he wanted to do with something new, and so I want them to do that again. Because I think we're gonna have the same issue with a Bloodborne 2 that we kind of had with Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. Like, where they're really good games, but they just don't recapture what was great about the first one.
All right, no, that's very understandable. You don't want that, right? That's why it's having
I'd like
a
to
new
see
IP
them-
would be
Well,
interesting.
I'd like to see them keep doing what they want, not
Right.
what fans want or what's just going to make money. But, I mean, at this point, whatever From Software releases is going to make money.
Right. So you hate when people just want to make money, right?
Well, obviously.
Because Ryan Reynolds was just cast to voice Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Dark Souls with pets.
I'm still... I mean, are we... This is kind of
Dark
movie
Souls
news,
of the
but...
Pokemon.
Well, I put every time I put a video game every time there's
Yeah, I
a
guess
video game
that's
news,
true.
I just put it with the video game stuff.
I
yeah.
don't know. I mean,
Make it PG-13 and have him drop an F-bomb.
It's
Make it M.
it's a
or R.
live action
Happy
movie
R.
in the first place.
Pikachu just kills people.
Pikachu kills people and gets
He's a
pregnant.
loose cannon cop who doesn't
This is
know
okay.
the
The
rules.
only reason because we talked about this last week, and I feel like the internet heard us. And they're like, you know what, Ryan Reynolds, let's just do this. These guys are talking about Ryan Reynolds.
I'm at least more excited that it's Ryan Reynolds and
And
not The Rock.
Yeah.
Or some of the other people that I've seen up for grabs on it.
Who else was up for grabs besides Ryan Reynolds and The Rock?
I don't know. I heard
Danny
somewhere
DeVito?
Danny DeVito or Danny Trejo, and I'm like,
No, they
Danny
weren't-
I
they
Trejo
would have
would've
taken
been pretty
either
great.
of those.
Yeah.
I know that Danny Trejo was probably just a joke, but that would have been pretty funny.
Danny
Like-
DeVito would have been amazing.
Machete as Pikachu.
Yeah.
And
I
then-
don't know, but I'm not holding my breath on this movie because
They'd have to make it Luchador Pikachu.
it's literally a live action movie with like a CGI Pikachu. And it's like, dude,
we still haven't even gotten the game.
there's no such thing as a good live action anime adaptation. And so, yeah, no.
Just want to see Trejo dressed up as Pikachu.
Yeah.
I really do want one of those like giant dancing Pikachu costumes though.
As Detective Pikachu.
No, I just want one of
You
them.
just want
I
one?
one of those. Like I just want to like walk around as Pikachu for a day and not be able to like sit down or anything because those suits are really huge.
So Ubisoft has announced Far Cry 5 and the crew have been pushed back a month because they want to like make sure they want to take time after Assassin's Creed Origins. They're like, yeah, we just want to make sure it takes time that our games are good because
Yeah.
like Assassin's Creed Origin was well polished. They're like, you know what? Maybe we have something here. Maybe we shouldn't sell uncompleted games and just have patches later on.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the first time in a while that like one of Ubisoft's really big main series games has gotten like decent feedback right after release. Like every other Assassin's Creed game, like Far Cry 4, everybody shit on them like immediately after they came out because they're full of bugs, they're full of glitches, they're broken, they're unfinished.
Rainbow Six.
Yeah,
The
Rainbow
Division.
Six.
Rainbow Six is amazing now, but when it
Siege
first
is
came out,
Siege is
Oh.
fucking great now.
Siege
But
is perfect game.
yeah, when it came out, it was like, oh wow, there's this game that I can literally see everything in like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Great. And the Division still sucks.
Yeah, they made everyone a bullet sponge. And just
Uh,
ruined the game immediately for me.
For Honor, I still love, but the community is fucking dead.
It's because no one else loves it, John.
Yeah, and well,
Everyone hates what you love.
everyone hates it because they don't understand the
true.
dynamic behind it. And because Ubisoft made a terrible fucking decision with For Honor. They decided to make a fighting game that had multiplayer in it, and then they put shooter multiplayer modes in it.
I know where I'm going. I know where
You
this is
can't do a team deathmatch and a domination in a fighting game and expect it to work. For Honor is full of like fucking people gangbanging the shit out of you and fucking laggy fucking games and people fucking leaving games and host migrations and shit like that. And I've made this argument for Ubisoft all the fucking time, but they won't come out and fucking say like, this is the reason we did it. We're sorry. I know it doesn't make sense to some of you, but this is kind of how it had to be done. They didn't do dedicated servers because there's a specific amount of lag between your internet connection connecting to that server and then connecting to other people's internet connection and then back and forth. Because there's a middleman in between there and that slows it down. And when you're playing a fighting game, every single frame matters. You take a game running at 30 frames per second, take out 2 frames, and that could be the difference between a match. Like, legitimately, I'm not fucking kidding. And
No, we can tell it's serious. You're using hand
Yeah.
motions.
Yeah.
Hand motions.
they can't see my hand motions, but I talk
Serious
with
face.
my hands.
Tear running down his cheek.
Yeah.
fucking hard on, like
Hard
crazy.
on.
He's passionate.
It's
His
almost-
dick is out because
Literally
of this.
popping a boner.
It's like right in my face.
Lefty stroking it
Because
while my
so For
right
Honor
hand
was
does
a
the
good
talking
fighting
for me.
game in your mind, right?
For Honor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great fighting game.
You know what
There's a lot of cheesing that goes on in it.
Yeah, there is.
Which is something that Ubisoft could have easily fixed, but they just don't. And that's one of my problems with the game. That's not really For Honor as a game's fault. That's Ubisoft and the developer's fault for not updating their game the right way. They've updated it by adding new characters and starting tournaments and shit like that, but they don't fix it, and that's the problem with For Honor. It's not a perfect game. It's a game that I like a lot, but it's a game that I totally understand why the community's dead.
No, I get you.
And it's a game that sucks that the community's dead because I would like to play it, but nobody else wants to play it. Still, if you do end up playing it, stick to the 1v1s and 2v2s. Because you don't see a whole lot of host migration in that shit, and even if somebody leaves, it generally just instantly replaces them with a bot and doesn't even bother with like a migration. Especially in 1v1s, because it's just your two internet connections connecting with each other. It's just like any other fighting game if somebody leaves.
Bandai Namco
Right.
recently unveiled a new My Hero Academia game for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. My Hero Academia One's Justice. It's going to be a fighting game.
Yeah, I saw this too. I'm actually kind of excited.
I am actually really excited for this game. Like, it... I don't know.
I love My Hero,
Yeah,
so...
I do also really like My Hero, and so this makes me pretty excited.
I like My Hero, I like fighting games.
So you put
I
those
like
two...
anime fighters.
And this one seems like it makes a lot of sense to be a fighting game.
Yeah. Well, especially because every character has their own unique quirk.
Yeah, and you can tell by the tournament arc it's a very physical
Mhm.
a lot of characters that can be physical prowess in their quirks, so expect Todoroki to...
I better have a fucking playable Tokiomi. So,
the bird guy?
Bird person.
I want a Momo.
I'd be down with that too.
Yeah.
She's best girl.
No,
Yeah.
Sue is best girl.
No,
Alright, don't jack off on
it's alright.
Yeah.
You can admit it. This is a safe space.
Sue is best girl, John.
No.
This is life. There is no safe space.
Sue is best girl.
You'll go down in a flaming ball of stupidity and call it good.
I mean, you could argue that life is a team deathmatch.
Exactly.
That's why it's in
mean-
For Honor.
Okay, so the team deathmatch generally actually works okay because people don't.
Are we
always-
really going
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at
yeah.
Got him.
I like For Honor.
Catfished.
Oh,
What do you
it's
want
so
me to say?
fucking
Go on,
terrible.
just fucking go on.
It's not that terrible. Why is it terrible?
Because
you
I can-
suck at fighting games.
I do, but because I suck at fighting games, but I can beat other people by hiding behind my shield like a pansy bitch, and
Exactly.
then slapping them upside the fucking head when they try
Exactly.
to hit me.
It's a game that I just said is cheese to fuck. But that's
Exactly.
not the game's fault.
It is the game's fault.
It's the developers in fucking Ubisoft who haven't
Oh,
fucking
God.
fixed
You could argue
anything.
the developers-
They haven't done enough balancing to the game. Especially
Like they're never going to.
well, that's
Come out
the
of your mom's
point.
ass.
It's the community's dead, and that sucks. Which means that they're probably not going to fix it.
Given to the rapid
Morty,
rise and
we gotta fix this
God damn
For
it,
Honor
yeah.
thing. It's really
You
bad.
really have to
God.
stop making Rick and Morty
God, I
references in
fucking
this time
hate
now.
you.
I'm sorry.
Like,
They ruined it with Szechuan sauce.
yeah,
Yeah.
Rick
you
and Morty
can't
died
like.
with Szechuan.
It's a new rule. Like, if you like Rick and Morty, nothing wrong with that. But you cannot publicly
Keep it
say
in the
that you
closet.
like Rick and Morty.
What
It's like
No,
being
you
gay
can
in the
say it
1990s.
if just like
If
a
it's just
sentence.
like, hey, I
Yeah,
like
keep
Rick
your
and
Yeah,
Rick
Morty.
if
and
I'm just
Morty in
like,
the
John, I
closet.
like
Why,
Rick and
why
Morty.
does everyone
but you,
suddenly hate Rick
But you
and
can't
Morty?
just be like, Pickle Rick!
Yeah.
You don't,
Yeah,
nobody
punch you in the
hates
fucking
Rick and
throat.
Morty. It's just that community's become fucking toxic to the point
God,
where
I hate
people.
I'm just glad that like that
Every
whole
fiber of my being.
Szechuan sauce rioting shit didn't come around here.
Those
Because
are
if I saw
fucking
somebody,
hilarious.
if I saw somebody fucking jumping on counters and screaming at employees because they didn't have any sauce packets, I'd make you eat your fucking teeth.
Dude, we're in Iowa. The people
Yes.
who would be doing that can't even get their legs off the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna
true.
say, like, more people rioted than live in this area.
Yeah, that's true.
That's insane.
If you did that, then you're a terrible person.
You're a piece
But
of shit.
when are we getting a new Matrix game?
Hopefully never.
The last one was
Hopefully
perfect.
they-
We don't need another one.
Shut the fuck up,
Dude.
all of you about
If
the
they
Matrix.
I had never
if
said
they
anything.
remake The Matrix,
Shut up, Ty.
Game or movie?
no, the
Stop
movie,
fucking
they
talking
better
about
they
Matrix.
better not remake them.
They could remake Path of Neo, and I'd be
Wow.
pretty excited. If they remade Enter the Matrix, I'd be pissed. Because that game fucking sucks.
Nobody
dick.
gives a shit about the Matrix.
Everybody likes
Hey.
the Matrix.
Except you.
Just leave Keanu Reeves out of it. He's busy making
John Wick.
John Wick, and those movies are amazing.
Given the rapid rise and just god damn it, Ty.
You don't want to talk about
In
the
digital
Matrix
gaming,
anymore?
how much I will fucking kill you.
What we
How
talked
much
about-
longer will the disc drive exist? And EA CFO Blake Jorgensen says that disc drives aren't going to leave anytime soon. And
I agree.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think they would.
I don't
either.
think they
I
will
mean,
either.
you get rid of discs and you've killed the entirety of the used gaming market. And
Goodbye,
Yep.
GameStop.
there's
Well, and also people like to collect
Become
them and
idiots.
then
Yeah,
be like,
exactly.
look at all the games
People
I
think
own
just
taking
sell
up
hard
so
drives.
much fucking
Yeah.
space.
And SD
it's
cards.
it's another thing that I've
Floppy
recently had
disks.
a conversation with somebody about, and that's like
Put it in Windows 95.
I think we actually talked about this too, with how the ESRB
It's like a simulator.
is starting to charge people a lot more to get ratings on their games, and
Shut the fuck up.
Why are you looking at me? Just
You
for that?
two.
Hey, we're talking about.
well, the ESRB has recently started charging a lot more for like physical copies in games, or not physical copies, for ratings on games. And if you have a digital copy, you basically just get that rating for free. If you want it to be physical, though, it costs like minimum like $5,000 now, or something like that.
Jesus.
Minimum.
I mean, if you're planning on selling a lot of games, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But this is like, it used to be that like indie developers who were like planning on releasing not as much could get it for a much cheaper price, and it was all based on like how many copies you were thinking you were going to sell. And now it's just like a flat, even rate for everybody. And the indie developers are really taking a hit because a lot of like their sales for physical games are only collectors and stuff like that, because all of these games come out only digital, and then they get physical releases like a year later after everybody's bought the game, and then they do crowdfunding to find out how many people really want a physical copy, and it's pretty much just collectors that are like, I liked this game a lot, I want a physical copy on my shelf. Like, so they already own it, they just want another one. And so that collection market for specific like single indie titles usually isn't that huge. It usually ranges from like a couple hundred people to like maybe just a couple thousand. But like in total, that market is huge. So I don't see disc drives going anywhere anytime soon, simply for that.
No, that's actually really awesome. Speaking of like the downloadable games, Mega Man X, all 8 games will be released for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC in summer 2018. So I'm pretty stoked. I love Mega Man X.
Yeah,
that game
me
is
too.
fucking dope.
I mean, I like most Mega Man games, so pretty much any time that I hear that I get to play them.
See, everybody's all about loving X. I just really love the Zero franchise.
I like Zero also.
Which one's the best?
What do you mean, like which
Like
Mega Man?
Man, yeah.
I personally like Mega Man 8 a lot.
They're all terrible.
All right, Eli.
I don't even have to play them. I just know they're bad.
You can apparently get a Chocobo horse in the newest update of Assassin's Creed Origins because of the
Wait,
dual
a horse?
partnership.
Yeah,
between-
it's like a Final Fantasy and Assassin's Creed fucking crossover.
Yeah, it's a horse with a
event
Chocobo
shit.
tail. That's yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
There's
Look
a
at that
Chocobo.
horse. That's horse
yeah, I
is
thought it was just a
amazing.
chocobo that you could ride around. I
Yeah,
didn't think
no.
it was also a horse.
It's
That's
a
kinda
horse
stupid.
Chocobo.
So speaking of horses, the new Breath of the Wild DLC has a motorcycle horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fucking sweet.
It's fucking weird.
How is that?
The DLC?
Yeah.
I bought it, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
But have
'Cause
you
it, like,
ridden the
just
horse
came
cycle?
out. No. I just said
It
that
just
I bought
came
it.
out to the deal.
I haven't had a chance to play it.
Yeah, it
It
just came out
today.
Like today.
Yeah, sit
And I
down,
didn't
bitch.
get off work until like 1 today, so
And you chose here instead of that.
I chose here instead of sleep.
Just think about the motorcycle
Well, thank
horse
you,
you could
John.
be riding right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it's
screw
pretty
us.
rad looking
In
in
your
my
dreams.
opinion.
Yeah, it does look like it's
John's
fucking. It's a
vision.
fever dream
Yeah.
though for some of the shit you can get in the DLC. It's a fever dream game now. Basically, they're just like Breath of the Wild is so popular, we can do whatever the fuck we want with this game.
Honestly, they could do anything that they want with Breath of the Wild, and I'd be like, yep, solid 10 out of 10.
now. Yeah, Square Enix has officially announced a new Tomb Raider game. Is in the works, and I'm pretty excited. I like Tomb Raider 2.
Is it following the story?
But will she die
What
violently?
story, Zach, do they follow?
I
I wanna
don't know,
rate
but
her
is it
too.
with the...
They're not doing like a
Wanna rate her
storyline
too.
that's in like a trilogy setting, but this is the new
Next
lore
story,
of
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
thing.
meant.
Like, what? There's no story though, Zach. She just goes from tomb to
It's
fucking
more
tomb.
than likely like a new story for this game.
But
Yeah.
will she die horribly?
Probably.
Multiple times?
How many tombs are there?
I mean, have you played both of the
What
Tomb
is the
Raiders?
tomb count?
Torture
it's
porn.
like torture. It's like Laura Croft torture porn.
Yeah.
I'll let you borrow both
It-
of them
like
if
the
you
first
want.
10 minutes are literally just watching her get fucking stabbed and beaten and dropped off mountains and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot to go through in 10
The
minutes.
first 3 Devil May Cry games are headed to new platforms. Capcom has announced the Devil May Cry HD collection.
Ooh.
See, I don't know. I'm like, I like Devil May Cry, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, we had an HD collection on the last generation. Anybody that wanted to play it probably played it on that. So why don't, instead of doing that, we just give a sequel to that remake of Devil May Cry and make it a good game?
I didn't
Because you're not
mind
thinking of the
DMC.
money.
Are you serious?
I didn't mind it at all. I
You
thought the
liked Emo Dante?
it was
The
a
gameplay was all right.
yeah. Let me
But,
like I wasn't playing. I don't play DMC for the story.
I don't play DMC for the story either, but I don't want Dante to be a fucking emo.
That doesn't bother me at all because like I always thought Dante was a douche anyways. So
He is a douche. That was one of the things that was cool about him.
I guess
You don't have to like him because you're like, he's a pretty fucking straightforward one-liner pizza-eating douche. And that's like all that really mattered. And in the new one, we get Dante flying around a fucking trashed up trailer naked as fuck. And then his stupid emo haircuts.
And then
See,
he disses
that-
the white
that's
haircut.
Literally, your only. He doesn't diss the white haircut. He gets his white hair when he goes into devil mode.
No, he disses it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they literally have a part in DMC where like a white wig falls on his head. And it's like white long hair
Yeah.
from like original. And then he's just like, bleh,
He's like, not a
like
chance.
rips it
and just
off or
throws it
whatever.
away.
Well, it's like DMC isn't a like it's a fucking okay game. Like I don't hate it. Like I don't really care.
I still liked the other ones much more.
Spoiler
And
Which is very true, but
Devil
like
May Cry 4 is already remastered again for new.
no.
Yeah, I know it's only 1 through 3
Yeah.
that they're announcing right now, but it's like they've already like re-released that game
Yeah.
again. It's like when the fuck are you gonna make something new?
Right. I just
It's like how many? It's exactly like how many times can they release Skyrim before they're like, all
that was
right,
Nathan's
we're
fucking question.
working on
Unlimited.
Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're going to
exactly.
be re-releasing Skyrim.
By the way,
Play it on your microwave in a month.
by the way,
I mean,
That'd
all
be
right.
cool.
If they release Skyrim for the microwave,
That would-
I'm gonna buy it.
So,
Honestly.
I would finally buy it.
by the way, did anyone else
Like
expect
Skyrim.
Virgil to betray Dante?
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
They like
You know
hint at it
this.
like immediately in the game,
It's like, hey, I'm a good guy. Wink,
but I'm
wink.
also bad.
Yeah.
Especially in DMC, it literally is like, yes, I am your friend.
Who's actually your illegitimate twin brother, and I also wear a fedora.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Yeah. I guess. God of War, instead of being the usual 8 hours that it took the last couple of games, is going to be 23 to 25 hours to beat.
It's fine with me.
fine.
I'm down for that. That means more lore, more beating shit up.
It's not really.
Kicking the fuck out of
It,
things.
it'll depend.
When is it about lore? Kratos
Yeah.
just takes the lore and punches its
Yeah,
dick
that's-
off.
Pretty true. For me, it's like
Or fucks it.
It'll depend on how the gameplay comes out. If this new gameplay that they're working with is good, then I'll be excited for it. But if it plays out pretty similar to how old God of Wars did, then honestly 14 hours is going to be way overstepping its bounds, because God of War is super repetitive.
Yes, it is.
One of the only redeemable factors of the 8-hour campaign is that it's pretty much done in a day if you just sit down and play it.
But now you get a kid.
Yeah, that's escort mission simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. Fucking Last of Us God of War edition.
Now we're gonna go talk about the VGAs. And the VGAs happened. We saw a shit ton of trailers from the VGAs. We're gonna
Which
go,
we already talked about.
which we already talked about. But what I mean is that we're talking about,
The awards.
yeah, who won. So the first one is Game of the Year, and John knows, I know. Do you guys?
I actually
have
don't
Breath of the
remember who
Wild.
got Game of the Year.
Breath of the Wild got
Oh,
Game of
oh,
the Year.
yeah, I'm
What a
okay with that.
surprise.
It beat out Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, Player Unknown Battleground. Thank God.
Yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey.
If PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds had gotten Game of the Year, I would have fucking rioted.
Right.
Like,
That's your
I
Szechuan
might
sauce.
have been alone, but I would have fucking rioted.
Why would you have rioted?
Dude, it's not even a finished game.
Right.
I can
Yo, stop playing with
guarantee.
the fucking battery pack.
I can guarantee I wouldn't have been alone, but
I
You
mean,
know, a couple
in
people don't join
Northwest
you.
Iowa,
yeah,
Probably
in
would've
Northwest
been
Iowa,
alone.
I definitely would have been alone.
and most of the farmers around here would be like, "What the fuck's he riding around?"
They just play Farming
I don't
Simulator to
understand.
see if it's
They'd be like,
accurate.
What has he got against peanut butter cheese? And anyway, between the picks for Game of the Year, honestly, Odyssey and Breath of the Wild were the only two in that list that I could have honestly given it to. Because Persona 5 was really, really good. But there was a lot of stuff that I think they kind of both backtracked from Persona 4 from. And then there was a lot of kind of reasons why that there were some things in it that I didn't like. Some of the mechanics and whatnot. And then Horizon Zero Dawn, while much, much better than a lot of Ubisoft's other open world games, still suffers from a lot of what other Ubisoft open world games suffer from. And that's like, the scenery's pretty samey. It's a lot of like, go here, find this, get a mini map that has a bunch of places to go. But the story in this one's actually good. And PUBG's unfinished, and then I can't remember if there was anything else other than Odyssey and Breath of the Wild.
No, it's usually
And
just 5 games.
If I was going to pick between Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, there's no way that I could pick Odyssey over. And that's because Odyssey took me like 6 hours to beat, first time around. I don't see the mass replayability in collectible-a-thons, but Breath of the Wild, I literally played that shit for like a week straight.
While calling into work.
No,
Okay.
because it was like right after I got fired. So I had like a week straight to play it. Like my Wii U activity log went from like nothing to like 16 hours a day of Breath of the Wild for like 8 days straight.
Jesus Christ.
I was
Like
there
I
for
beat,
some of that.
they're like, you want to come hang out? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I brought my Wii U with me so that I could play it.
Yep.
Like I beat the shit out of that game.
But did you beat it
to
harder
death.
than your dick?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
beat my dick for 16 hours a day.
He won't even beat it for 45 minutes.
I mean,
It usually takes me about 5.
Best game direction goes to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay, quick question. How many of these awards just went strictly to Breath of the Wild?
All of
Not
them.
a lot, just a few. Best narrative went to What Remains of Edith Finch. I never played that game.
I didn't either, so.
I have no idea what it is.
Never.
Best art direction goes to Cuphead, which is
I'm
Yeah,
okay
God,
with that.
yeah,
very
This
well
is a
deserved.
really good looking
The
game.
the only reason that I'm okay with it, because the 1930s animation style isn't exactly like a new art style, but because we haven't really seen it in a video game
Epic Mickey.
done well
Okay.
ever,
It's fresher.
because like Kingdom Hearts had it, but
It was
that's
really
more like
bad.
1920s, but it didn't really work because they mixed it with like straight up like 3D models.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm mostly just happy Destiny 2 lost.
Yeah, me too.
Because they're just like, look at this game, that's a copy of this other game we made. Now we'll have rewards.
Yeah, if there's anybody that is, if there's anybody that is still on Destiny 2's side after the fucking Born of Osiris bullshit that just happened, you're dumb. Like like
What happened with
Bungie
that?
literally
It's a
played
good thing I don't play
It's
that game.
pretty much the same thing that happened with Destiny 1. Like, the end game content is literally, like, locked off with a paywall.
Oh, for God's sakes, again?
Yeah, like, the expansions are supposed to be, like, an expansion of what the game did in the first place. But Destiny 2, again, falls short of feeling like a complete game. Because
they can charge you for
you
the
go
ending.
through this fucking new campaign and everybody's like, oh my gosh, there's actually a story this time. And I'm like, there isn't a single goddamn necessary plot point in the entire story.
But it
Nothing
was better.
makes any sense. It's all just like, it's still kind of just like, go here, shoot this, then this happens. And it's pretty fucking dumb.
Once again, I'm happy I don't play it.
I mean, I'll give it to Bungie. It's definitely better than Destiny 1,
By a
It's-
margin.
but it's still, it's not like,
Low bar.
yeah, it's literally like, the bar is laying on the ground, and they picked it up and put it on the end table.
Best score goes to Nier Automata.
I'm okay with that.
I like that. I like the score to Nier
Well,
Automata.
I like that entire game, but
Best-
what were the other ones in the category?
Persona 5, Cuphead, Destiny 2, Super Mario Odyssey, and Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, I don't think I could have honestly given that to, because there is a little bit of lack of decent song. I mean, like, pretty much the entire open world track is what you're going to be hearing the entire time.
Mhm.
It's one thing,
Burner.
which is fine, but it's like, it gets old.
Best audio design, though, goes to Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
That I can totally agree with. Play that game with headphones. It's pretty intense. However, I can't honestly recommend the game to anyone, because while I think it is a really good art piece, it's not a good game.
Okay.
And I'll sit here and say, if you are on the side of, like, video games can be an art medium, you should play it. But if you're just looking for something that's fun to play, this isn't exactly fun. It's more of like an art set piece on, like, a psychology level than anything else, and less like a game.
Best ongoing game goes to Overwatch, beating PUBG, Rainbow Six Siege, Warframe, Grand Theft Auto, and Destiny 2.
Fucking
I feel
hate
like Grand
Overwatch.
Theft Auto or
No, I understand.
Yeah, I think.
They got a new DLC heist.
I think. Can
I
you
saw
list off
that.
that one again?
It's pretty bad.
Like, what else is in
Warframe,
there?
Rainbow Six Siege, PUBG, Grand Theft Auto Online, and Destiny 2.
like GTA
Grand
or
Theft Auto
Siege.
Online or Warframe, I would have
I
given
think
it to.
Warframe should have won.
But yeah, I'm gonna
That
side
shit's
with
free.
Warframe because
Yeah.
it's both free and it was a game that was made to fail and didn't.
Best indie game does go to Cuphead.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
Best
that.
handheld goes to Metroid Samus Returns, beating out Ever Oasis, Fire Emblem Echoes, Monster Hunter Stories, and Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World.
Okay, so I played Monster Hunter Stories, and I probably would have given that to it before Metroid. But I can't really argue with the Metroid because we've been asking for Metroid games for forever, and we finally started getting some. It's just my problem with Samus Returns is that a lot of the game kind of feels samey in the first 3/4 of it, and then all of the bosses really don't bring any sort of innovation to the game at all. But it's a great fucking Metroid game, and I do highly recommend it.
Best action game goes to Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus.
Fuck yeah, I love this game. Dude, I
Jeez.
fucking love this game. Don't even shit on it.
Wolfenstein. Okay, so I played both of the two that came before it, the Old Blood and the New Order.
Just so you know, the Old Blood is just like an
It
expansion. of the
is.
first
It
game,
is.
so-
It is. You're right.
Or it's
But-
supposed to be an expansion of the first game, but it also is its own game.
It's its own game.
Which
It
is
happens
awesome.
before the New Order, and it's great because you can just buy the Old Blood. You don't have to even buy the New Order to have it.
Mhm.
You can buy it on a separate disc. It's still a great game. But the New Blood, there's just a lot of dialogue, which you do need sometimes, but there's also just a lot of pointless
New Order.
repeating.
Right.
New Colossus.
New Colossus. I might have said the New Order. My bad. there's just a lot of dialogue, and there's some stuff that just it's a lot the same as the first two.
Yeah, I'll agree.
It is a good game.
The story definitely kind of drags itself out a little bit, but I really think that like the gameplay changes that they made to this one, in like pretty much making stealth a requirement, and then like also making it a viable option at the same time, by basically increasing the difficulty of everybody, like everything. I think it really like ups the game in my opinion. And I do think it's better than the first one.
Graphics wise, it improved because
A lot.
the first one had so much fucking popping, the textures and everything. That always bugged me and made the game look ugly.
Yeah.
And the game was all like gray.
Best
Everything was
action
great.
adventure game goes to Breath of the Wild.
Sweet.
Best role playing goes to Persona 5.
Yeah.
Best fighting game
What
goes
were the other ones in the RPG category, since that's what we're talking about later?
RPGs. Nier Automata, Final Fantasy 15, Divinity: Original Sins 2, and South Park Fractured But Whole. Which again, I
would have given it to
to
Nier Automata
Yeah.
before Persona 5, mostly because I think a lot of people slept on replaying Nier Automata.
Yeah,
There's like fucking, you gotta go through that game like fucking 10 times
yeah.
or some shit like that
Mhm.
before you get the whole thing, and that's a lot for an RPG even.
Best fighting game goes to Injustice 2, beating out ARMS, Marvel vs. Capcom, Nidhogg 2, and Tekken 7.
I can agree with all of that.
You didn't like Infinite? Did you play Infinite?
I did. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I think Injustice 2 is a little bit better.
Best family game goes to Super Mario Odyssey. Best
Was
strategy.
anything else going to win that?
No.
Well, he was up against 3 other Mario games.
Yeah.
Sonic Mania and Splatoon.
Figures.
Best strategy game, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle beats out Total Warhammer 2, Tooth and Tail, XCOM 2, War of the Chosen, and Halo Wars 2.
The only one that I would have wanted to win this is literally the game that Mario plus Rabbids took all of its inspiration from.
XCOM.
XCOM 2. And that's because Mario plus Rabbids is basically XCOM, but XCOM is still better.
It's 'cause it's
Forza
Mario.
Motorsport 7 is the best sports racing game.
Can't argue with that.
Best multiplayer, Players Unknown Battleground, beating out Bungie's Destiny 2, Call of Duty World at War, Mario Party 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2.
Fortnite's better.
Most anticipated game, beating out Monster Hunter Worlds, Red Dead Redemption 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and God of War is Last of Us Part 2, Naughty Dog.
Really?
You're some sick
Doesn't surprise
fucks.
me, but
Best esport game goes to Blizzard, and everything else is about esports in China, and I don't want to talk about
You
that.
didn't even
What
say
does China have
Overwatch.
to
You
do
just said
with this?
Blizzard.
Blizzard.
Because we all know.
It's Overwatch. So now we've got a few
overrated
we've got a
game.
few questions that involve both RPG and regular video
RPG,
game
but I want to be here for these.
regular video game questions. I'm gonna do the regular video game questions first because one guy's like, "Does Louis Steelan us? Do games cheat?"
What do you mean?
Games cheat.
I mean, yeah, if you set the difficulty high enough, yeah.
There are certain
They
games
absolutely
where...
fucking cheat.
Do they cheat?
Well,
My girlfriend
I mean,
cheats.
take
Aliens Isolation.
fighting
Cheat on
games,
you?
for
They
instance.
cheat.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Take fighting games,
Put some
for
balance
instance.
aside.
Every single last boss that you face in a fighting game
Shao Kahn.
is definitely cheating.
Yeah.
Like, but it's not gonna be any sort of difficulty if they're not.
Thoughts on microtransactions in video games
Let's
and
not.
what
I've
new
talked
games
about
are
this
excited
enough.
for?
I'm
We've
Yeah, let's
covered
not.
that.
Alright.
You guys
We've
can talk
covered
about
that.
it.
That can burn in
So,
hell.
Yeah.
If you paid $60 for a game and they hold stuff from you that's already made, that's bullshit.
And you have to keep
But
paying to get
if they
them out.
give you free DLC and there's microtransactions, they have to pay their employees somehow. That's fine, but just
Battlefront.
don't make the transactions something that are
That's gonna
vital
affect
to
the game.
making you a good player.
Battlefront.
That was
No
wrong.
one's gonna
Yeah,
buy
that was
that.
wrong.
That
game.
was wrong, and it killed a game that looks amazing. And I actually pre-ordered, but I heard that you had to pay even more money to be anywhere decent at the game.
Destiny 2.
No one
Well,
buys
that's
that game
cosmetics,
either.
That's cosmetics. You don't have to.
I don't care about cosmetics.
They also were talking about someone said this. I was getting pissy mostly with D2, and I mean D1 was an awesome game. Microtransactions were cosmetics, just for emotes, so don't affect gameplay. Games like that. New Star Wars, I think they might have changed what they were doing. Okay, never mind. Just
So,
Battlefront.
there's games that do it well. There's games like Rainbow Six Siege, free DLC, and everything. All the microtransactions are just cosmetic. They don't make you better. Call of Duty World War II. Keep wanting to say World at War.
Wow.
But you can shit on Call of Duty for being a mindless game.
Any MOBA runs off cosmetic microtransactions.
But Battlefront.
Call of Duty did it right. Call of Duty
We all know
is a
Battlefront
decent
didn't do it
this
right.
year. Their game is decent. So
What Nathan Hale asked, what game deserves a reboot / modern sequel, and why?
Battlefield 1942.
Ooh.
Honestly, I thought you'd go with Bad Company.
No, they just need to make Bad Company 3.
So that's a
Well,
sequel.
I mean, that's a sequel.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
That was
Yeah.
on there, yeah.
Oh, let's see here.
John, what
Are we
game
still-
deserves a reboot or modern day sequel?
All right, sweet. I'm glad I didn't miss this one because honestly, I have a lot of opinions on this. There's a lot of games that do.
PSA by John Dean.
I feel like he needs to be.
Now I've lost my train of thought.
That was just completely threw him off.
Way to go, Eli.
He's got nothing. He has no opinions.
Son of a bitch.
Get him a Mr. Rogers sweater.
Okay, so I think there's a lot of games that deserve remakes. However, I don't really want to see any of them. I know that sounds fucking stupid. I'm completely tired of remakes and remasters and stuff like that. I wish that there were more developers. What?
But my childhood, John.
I wish that there were more developers that would instead remaster an old game, would take what an old game did and bring that somewhere new. And there's not a whole lot of work that goes into that. Like, yes, it's pretty easy to take an old game and be like, yeah, we're just going to update the graphics and release it. But you can do the same thing with a little extra work and make something new.
No, I understand that. If I was going to go with sequel and remake,
You're going to say something dumb, and it's going to piss me off.
Oh, God.
I can just see it in
Do you want me to
Hold
go
him
before
back.
or after
Hold
Keaton?
him back.
No, go after Kian, so I
Alright,
have
'cause
something.
mine will
that-
be good.
Maybe.
It'll be good.
With you, I don't know. It's either going to be something I totally agree
the
with,
fuck
or
do you think I'm going to say?
I
literally
think you'll
something
agree.
that's going to set my ass
You're
on
probably
fire.
going to say something cancerous.
What do you think I was going to say?
Alright, what's everybody else going to say? I won't say anything until everybody else is done.
Epic Mickey 3, I'm kidding.
No, I fuck you. Alright, I lied. I'm sorry.
What is it for real?
Honestly, I would do like what Soul Calibur 6 is doing with making Soul Calibur 1, but I'd want to do that with Tekken 1 because I feel like I want to get it back to its regular roots of a like legit fighting game instead of here's a fucking demon you can fight.
I think with my problem with Tekken 1 is that like a lot of the game was still kind of in an experimental phase.
Oh, maybe not Tekken
So,
2.
If I was
I
going
would
to
do
do that, I'd do
Tekken 2.
Tekken 2 or 3.
yeah.
But
That's the one I want because I want to see that in cool graphics because
But
Gen
I
Mitsurugi
was
looks fucking badass. So.
never honestly really as into Tekken as other fighting games because again, I've always kind of thought it's a little bit clunkier.
It's very button mashy as well.
Yeah.
I don't know that or honestly they just did a King of Fighters 7. They just put a new King of Fighters out, but honestly, if they could give back the classic like Fatal Fury, I'd do that. Like I like I said, I like fighting games, so
I do too.
Fatal Fury or Tekken 2.
I guess I'd love to see like God Hand brought back.
Yeah. See, mine wasn't cancerous, so fuck you.
You're pretty cancerous yourself, though.
Me
so
too.
it
Weigh
balances
that up.
out.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
Alright, never mind, I agree.
Yeah. It's a good one.
He already said his.
WWTK19.
No, I don't have one. Fuck
WWE
off.
2K19.
Fuck all of you.
Yeah, I definitely would love to see Battlefield go back to some Bad Company days.
Remake the first one if they're gonna remake one. Bad Company 1. So that game was a lot better than people give it credit for.
It was fun.
Even if they just did Bad Company 2, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm in. I'm gonna
Or just
drive
make
dirt.
the third
I'm
one
gonna
for
fucking
fuck's
put
sake.
C4 on dirt bikes and drive it into people.
That's how you make a Battlefield campaign. Like they
Yeah.
always get shit for making shitty campaigns. Like just make it open world, kind of like Bad Company 1 was, and
Yeah.
just do whatever the fuck you want.
Do you remember the Medal of Honor campaign?
Which one?
Which one?
The newest one by DICE?
You mean my
Oh.
newest one? You mean like way back in 2012?
Yeah,
and
like
basically
the
Medal
newest-
of Honor
yeah, it's
Warfighter.
the one that killed the Medal,
Medal of Honor series?
Yeah.
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 I mean, yeah,
that campaign was cheesy as fuck.
yeah.
Made me want to kill myself.
Pretty much every other Medal of Honor before that was really good, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What about you, Gil? Anything Kirby?
No, because they just keep releasing new games.
Kid
Yeah.
Icarus?
Yeah, you don't have to worry.
They
about
already
they
got
just
a
got
Kid Icarus.
yeah.
I'm just
They're probably
giving
gonna
Gil,
work
I'm
on
just
a
giving
sequel.
Gil shit.
I
A good
honestly-
Star Fox game where I don't have to use a fucking tablet.
I can go for that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest.
Unpopular opinion, maybe another Star Fox Adventures. A lot of
Mm.
people didn't like it, but I think
It's
a lot
okay.
of people didn't like it because they wanted a Star Fox
Yeah.
game, and we got Star Fox Adventures.
Right, that's the
It's not
thing.
a terrible
It's
game.
not a terrible game.
It's just not
That's-
really like what I wanted
But,
from
yeah,
Star Fox.
I wanted to tell me to do a barrel roll.
And then do an aileron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't really know.
Fox, help! I wanted more of that in that game.
Just
That I didn't
shoot
want.
me.
Do a barrel roll. I'm better than you, Fox. Okay, so we're gonna go to RPG questions. Julie Miller asks, unique and crazy weapons in an RPG game.
That wasn't really like a question. That sounded more like it was an answer to your question.
Yeah, well,
Like,
let's-
we're going to be talking about what makes a great RPG. Hit us with some video game questions. Unique and crazy weapons. I mean, yeah, that's not... I don't agree with that's what makes a good RPG, but a lot of RPGs
No, the
have
next
crazy
comment
weapons.
doesn't sound like a question, and I had to clarify with her.
Okay, what is it?
Music, storyline, exclamation point, crying for unattainable costumes.
Yeah,
That
that's-
is not a question.
That's definitely like an answer to what makes a great RPG, but that's not. Those are really shallow answers to what makes a great RPG. I mean, if that's what you want to see in an RPG, that's fine, because a lot of RPGs do that. But a lot of RPGs don't do that, and they're great games. Like The Witcher 3 is a great fucking RPG. Doesn't have crazy weird costumes. Doesn't have crazy weird weapons.
No, I'm just giving you shit now. I'm just
Alright,
honestly like the
fine.
weird, the
I'm just-
weirdest. One of my favorite weird, unique weapons is from Fallout 4, and it's the fucking like
The fucking
fist.
mini nuke launcher that shoots teddy bears.
No, but that's pretty cool too.
Oh,
No,
that's
the,
Fallout 3.
no,
Did
the
you say
fucking
4?
yeah, the fist,
Oh,
the concrete fist punching thing. Because I just like
Yeah.
punching shit in Fallout 4.
I don't know.
Dragon Age Inquisition. There was a cheese wheel you could use as a shield,
Yeah.
and it was just my best shield for the longest time.
The most used shield.
And then later there's a knife that you can get that's just like a cheese slicing knife.
Mhm.
Someone was hungry
Truly.
when they made those.
Yeah, there's a lot of cheese in that game. I don't know why.
Yeah, there.
I legitimately don't know why.
I mean, like
It's a cheesy game.
any Monster Hunter game has some really weird weapons. Not necessarily like an RPG, but
I consider that kind of RPG-esque in
it's
some manners.
RPG-ish. But I don't know. Any RPG has. Pretty much any JRPG has weird weapons.
Cloud's fucking Buster Blade, but from Advent Children, because he's fucking throwing them around because they're all 7 mini swords
See-
turning into a super sword.
At least with the Advent Children swords, they make a little bit more sense because they're smaller, so they could potentially be lighter. But yeah, when he puts them all together, you're talking like 8 swords
Yeah.
in one big sword.
One
That's
big
gotta
sword.
weigh like a ton.
Yeah, that's-
Literally.
That's what I mean. And I guess Leon's sword from
The
fucking
Gunblade?
the Gunblade.
The Gunblade at least, like, is a legitimate sword that you could, like, hold up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All JRPG games have the most ridiculous fucking swords.
Pretty sure you can use a
Pretty
fish
much
as a weapon.
all of the weapons in JRPGs are
Yeah.
pretty ridiculous.
Schultz
but
back scratcher.
That's I don't know. You could like.
You could scratch backs with that thing.
Okay, so
Ooh.
that's like
Wow.
could be a viable unweird weapon if you think about it, because that's like not even Earth.
Yeah.
That's like a different world, different time kind of thing, and it's an electronic as well. I don't know. It's obviously weird, but like in that world, it's probably like a legitimately normal tool.
Probably still weird.
I mean, yeah, for a back scratcher.
Exactly.
It's not even like, it doesn't even have like a hook on it.
Especially
for, like,
since he
reaching
yells it at
around.
you.
Yeah, right.
It'll just like stab right through you.
Scratch the back.
Anyways,
of the
what's the
opponent
next
just to make them
question?
surrender.
It was Nathan's
Oh,
question
I'm
about
gonna kill him.
Bethesda
I'm gonna kill
remaking Skyrim again.
What's the actual, like, what is the question?
When do you think Bethesda will stop reformatting Skyrim and release a new Elder Scrolls title?
I mean,
Never.
At least it's a
It's gonna be
legitimate
a couple
question,
years.
but
I legitimately think like 2023 would be
Yeah.
the earliest that they do
The
that.
year 2044.
Because they keep bitching about how they make more games than Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. But I
They
don't.
don't though. They
They do, but I don't care.
yeah, they do, but nobody gives a fuck about
And then they
it.
made the Elder Scrolls Online, and so I think that was they were hoping that would buy them some time.
And it didn't.
Yeah, and then
It
MMOs
was
just
Not
died.
even close.
Yeah.
It was
It's more popular than you would think, but it's definitely not tying people over for the next Elder
Yeah, no, like
Scrolls.
I enjoyed it, but it's not another Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, exactly. Is that the last
That
question?
is the last question.
Okay.
Wow.
Thanks for listening, guys. Have a
Bye.
good night.